Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Tonight we'll be talking about a theme that most of you would think, Cambodia Global Dialogue, we're discussing economic, trade, financial crisis. Why are we talking about gender? Because that will be the theme of tonight's discussion is Cambodia, gender equality and economic development. So it's quite interesting because, you know, we've been talking a lot about statistic, you know, development, that sort of thing. But we will be hearing tonight something a little bit more unusual for most of us who are not familiar with the work of, you know, the gender aspect. And we have the great pleasure and the great honor to have tonight with us Excellency Madam Dr. Kuntha Phavi, Minister of Women Affairs of the Royal Government of Cambodia. So, Minister, I think as we're a good friend, I like to call you Phavi as a friend, and let me say that it's such an honor to have you. You are the first Cambodian minister of this Royal Government to come to our show. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, before we start on this very sort of like interesting, but not so known into many people, you know, perhaps I'd like to give you a few minutes so you can say a bit about yourself so that the audience know who you are. Not to say that they don't know you, they know you, but just to get the formality out of the way.
Thank you, Siphana. It's an honor for me to be invited, to be the first member of the government to be invited in this kind of dialogue. I appreciate it. And you introduced the topic before introducing me, and just coming back to your introduction, I think that is not unusual to talk about human capital, because we will talk about human capital. Yes. And as you may know, human capital and human development has a real impact on the economic development. So we are still closely linked to economic development, to all economic issues. So if I may introduce myself, I am the Minister of Women's Affairs. I have a medical background, and also I have a Master in Public Administration.
You went to ENA also?
Combined to the medical background, and I am in this position for more than 10 years already, taking care of more than 10 years taking care of gender issues and how can we achieve the gender equality, which is for a lot of people, why gender equality in our society or also worldwide, because it's still a discussion. But I think that a lot of researchers has shown already that gender equality has also an impact in speeding the economic development of all countries worldwide.
Yes. Phavi, you know, a lot of people talk about gender development, gender equality, but I don't think many people understand what it really means. It just sounds good. It sounds politically correct.
Yes, of course. I think that a lot of people talk about gender without really understanding, deeply the meaning of gender concept. Why we don't talk about women issues? Because all the time when we discuss on gender issues, we talk more on women issues, especially in Cambodia. In another country, the context is completely different. They can talk about not women issues, but men issues.
Yes. Okay.
So it's a reason why gender means what is the role of men and women in the development of their society, in development of their community, and of their country. So you have the role of men inside, the involvement of men, of course. I think for the advancement of women in society, you can't, marginalize or neglect the involvement of men.
Yes, I see.
You need the whole society backing up this advancement, you know.
So I feel better that we men are also included in your definition.
Yes, of course, we are inclusive. We have an inclusive policy.
Inclusivity. Speaking of that, for me, I'm always trying to see from the perspective of Cambodia in the world, where are we fitting in the area of trade, in economic, in infrastructure, in telecom, for example. But in this area of gender, where are we fitting? In terms of policy mainstreaming, in terms of having a clear policy agenda to support gender development. Where are we fitting?
If I may say, gender is a cross-cutting issue.
Yes.
You can't improve the advancement of women without tackling the issue of education,
Yes.
without tackling the issue of health,
Yes.
without tackling the issue of economic,
Yes.
without tackling the issue of legal protection,
Yes.
and also governance, because
Okay.
now there
Okay.
is also,
Yes.
in order to ensure the accountability for all citizens, women and men, you need also to look at governance,
Yes.
and where are women,
Okay.
the contribution of
Yeah.
women in governance. So you have a lot of sectors
Yes.
when you talk about gender.
Okay.
So it's a reason why I think that in order to to make the national policy more gender sensitive,
Yes, yes.
before going to gender responsive, you need to tackle all those sectors.
Yes.
And it's a reason why we talk about mainstreaming
Mainstreaming,
gender
yes, yes.
at policy making level.
Yes. And are
how
we?
the ministry,
Are we?
yes, of course. And I would like to express my thanks to the Prime Minister,
yes.
Samdech Hun Sen, who really was and still is the champion of promoting the implementation
Yes.
of the national policy. It's not the Ministry of Women's Affairs policy,
Yes,
it's the
it's a
national
national
policy, the government
Yes.
policy on gender equality,
Yes.
which is clearly stipulated in the rectangular strategy, which consider that women are the backbone of the society
Yes.
and the economy of Cambodia.
Yes.
So, of course, respecting this framework, the Ministry of Women's Affairs actually have two important missions.
yes.
The first one is mainstreaming first gender in national and sectoral policies.
Okay. Okay.
So we are working with the 24 ministries,
Okay.
how we can integrate gender issues.
Yes. So in the
gender
National
needs.
Strategic Development Plan, you are in.
Oh yes, of course. I said already that
Okay.
the national policy means,
Is there.
of course, it is already stipulated in
Yes.
the rectangular strategy of the government.
Yes.
And it is also stipulated in the NSDP, the
Yes.
National Strategic Development Plan,
Yes.
and also now in the National Strategic Development Plan update 2009-2013.
Yes.
So it is already in.
So basically, policy-wise, we're good. We're good.
Not completely good. I mean,
Yes.
if you say good 100%, no.
Sure,
I
sure,
think
sure.
that it's.
Yeah.
I will lie if I said
Yes,
100%.
yes.
But I think that we are progressing a
Yes.
lot with the support, the strong support of course, of the top leaders
Yes,
and
yes.
also of the ministers of
Good.
different
Yes.
ministries. We have progressed a lot, especially in terms of mainstream integrating gender issues in legal framework,
Yes, yes, yes.
in policy framework,
okay.
and especially in sectoral policy framework.
Yes, Phavi, I mean, from policy, the reason I say it's good because I think not every country, that I travel, that I work, that I have been there, does have a gender mainstream policy. So in that sense, Cambodia is doing quite well. But having said that, having been mainstream that policy, if we look at concretely, right, that the population in Cambodia is a lot of women in there. Let's face it, you have those who are in the formal sector, like in the garment industry. 80% of them, are in the garment industry. They are the formal sector. But the other are the informal sector. So what is your view on how do you help take care on this gender equality everything for the informal sector, which is much more difficult because they're not organized, right? Versus the garment industry, for example, which is much more organized.
This is what I told you. I think that we have two important missions. The first mission is mainstreaming in national and sectoral policies,
Yes.
and also national and sectoral programs.
Yes, yes.
Within the different line ministries.
Okay, okay.
But the second role, the second mission is to implement innovative approaches
Okay.
in order to show to the line ministries that we can implement programs with a gender perspective,
Yes.
taking care of
Yes.
gender issues.
Yes.
So talking about the economic sector, you talk about the formal and informal economic sector.
Yeah.
Of course, women contribute actively to the garment sector, which is one of the main pillars of our economic development.
Okay.
So 80% already of workers are women. But you said also that a lot of women are also contributing in the informal sector.
Yes,
It's true. Research show that we have 83% of women who are self-employed or
In the informal sector,
non-paid family workers.
Non-paid.
In terms of labor force participation of women, it's one of the highest rate in Cambodia. If you compare to the region, is more than 70% according to ILO.
I see.
So, women contribute already officially and non-officially
But not
to the
necessarily
economic,
recognized though.
not recognized, unfortunately. As I told you, 83% are self-employed or non-paid family workers. And where are they? According to IFC, one of the World Bank structure, in 2009, they showed that in the listed small, medium enterprise, we have 62% of those micro, small, and medium enterprise are owned by women.
Owned by women, not
owned by women.
They're owned by women.
Owned by women.
Interesting.
And 97% of those listed small, medium enterprise are micro enterprise. So where are they? They are in businesses. Micro businesses.
I'm glad to hear that because a few years ago we had this global financial crisis, and I always felt that it is not the big company, in this case Cambodia, who are making the country back into its resiliency, but it is more this micro and small medium enterprise who are really getting the economy back steady. So it's quite interesting statistic.
Yes, it's quite interesting, and we need to look at this potential. I consider as a potential.
Is that utilized, fully utilized, underutilized?
Not completely fully utilized, but it is working. So it's reason why the Ministry of Women's Affairs is working now with development partners to look at the issue. First is to do a research, a serious research on the informal sector. What is this informal sector? Where are women? And what is their contribution? And in terms of economic impact, what is the economic impact? And of course, as you said, I think that a lot of research worldwide show that micro and small and medium enterprise are more resilient to global economic changes. And we know that the impact, the negative impact of this the recent economic crisis has had forced more than 80,000 women workers, to go out from the garment industry because of this economic crisis.
You're working with them a lot. Any particular project you're proud of, that the ministry is really proud of, that could be a model that could show that it does work,
Yeah, I think that if you talk about the economic empowerment issues for women, I think women already contribute. You want or you don't want, they are already there. They are contributing actively.
They have their place.
Actively.
Actively.
So I think that what is our challenge is to make their voice heard by policymakers.
Yes.
It's not because they are working in the informal sector you have to marginalize them.
Yes.
The economic weight is quite important, And I remember that one institute, I think that should be the Economic Institute of Cambodia, show a few years ago that the weight of the informal sector is quite high, almost 60% of the GDP.
Yes, wow.
So it's quite, you are an economist, you know that.
I'm a lawyer,
so
not
you are a lawyer, but you are taking care of a lot of economic issues, and you know that the weight is quite high. So this is, I consider, as a potential. As a potential, and where are the contributors? Women, a lot of women. So how can we empower them economically? How we can strengthen the capacity to become a real economic agent to speed the economic development of Cambodia. I think that there is a room to work on. And, but we need first baseline survey to look at the informal sector.
Are there existing programs that you are pursuing now already?
We started already implementing some small project. It's just small project. As I told you, we are still piloting different projects in order to have to look at the innovative approaches. How can we do?
I like that.
Yeah, innovative approaches. And we are working, we are promoting now this, we call this public-private partnership.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Does
when
it
we talk
include
about
donor
economic
also?
issues.
Does it have development partner also involved?
Yes, with development partners. But
Yes, yes,
we
beautiful.
involve the private
Yeah.
partner now.
Yeah.
We have one small project in Kampong Chnang, which is
Okay.
quite, maybe which show a lot of potential.
Yes.
You know, when private sector is coming, because
Sure.
they saw something
Exactly. They
benefits.
see the potential, yeah.
So it's a project related to bamboo handicraft in Kampong Chnang.
Okay, okay.
And actually, with the technical, our center, the Ministry of Women's Affairs have 12 big, we call Women Development Centers,
Center. Yeah,
12 nationwide.
WDC, yeah.
And we have one in Kampong Chnang. And this center provide
Yes.
skill training, marketable skill training.
okay,
So
that's
we
great.
improve the technical skills
Yes, yes.
already.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of weaving, in terms of
yes,
coloring,
yes,
you
yes.
know. So you improve the quality of product first.
Yes.
And then you have to improve the design
Yes,
in order
yes.
the design to fit
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the domestic market
Yes.
and also to the regional and
Yes,
international
yes.
market.
Yes.
So this is what we have done in the past, and
okay.
now it is ready in terms of
Beautiful.
product.
All right, all right.
But the problem is in terms of productivity.
I see.
So now we have to form association
Yes.
of basket weavers, bamboo
okay,
basket
yes,
weavers.
yes, yes.
It's not just basket. We are not
yeah, sure.
producing basket. We are
Different thing
producing
from that.
different things for
Yeah.
home furniture,
yeah,
equipment,
yeah.
etc. But we call basket
Beautiful,
weaving
yeah.
actually, bamboo handicraft producers. We form this association in order to improve the
Yes,
productivity
yes.
because one or
Yes.
two is not enough
Yes.
to
exactly.
supply.
So you're doing good in that sense.
And
Yeah,
then
you're
now
happy.
we have to find, a private partner
Yes.
to help us, to facilitate us
Okay.
to access to the market.
Okay.
And
yes.
now we have a private partner, which is MasterCard,
Yes, yes.
coming from Singapore.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they are very interested. So actually, they donated some small
Beautiful.
budget
Yeah, yeah.
to continue, and
Good.
they are looking at how to access to the market, how we
Yeah.
can market our
Yeah,
product.
Yeah. Phavi, this is you mentioned pilot, which is good, and I hope that it can be replicated into other product with the similar economic viability. So this is something that I really want the audience to see, that yes, there's a lot of opportunity to work with the micro enterprise, particularly with a lot of women there. So that's something I'm quite happy. But we're almost coming to the end of the show, unfortunately. But there's one thing I have to touch, which is Cambodia next year, will be the chair of ASEAN, right? So it's a big honor for the government, particularly for some like Prime Minister Hun Sen, who as chair of the ASEAN, he will be given the opportunity to be at the G20. Cambodia will be the host of many summit here. So it's quite a big event for Cambodia. In the area of gender, with your ministry, do you have any activity that could contribute to Cambodia shining next year?
If I may say, we plan to host the 4th East Asia Ministerial Meeting. It's a ministerial level meeting with 16 countries in East Asia,
including
region.
ASEAN.
Of course,
Yes.
in the 16 countries, you have the 10 countries from
okay.
ASEAN.
Yes.
So we will hold this meeting in November this year.
Right after we have we have the mandate.
Yes. So we will hold this meeting in November in Siem Reap.
Yes.
And the recommendation coming out from this meeting,
Yes.
each country will try to integrate in the policy.
Yes.
And this policy in the national policy.
In national policy,
and
yeah.
I think that in the ASEAN summit they will discuss the policy,
Yes,
of
yes.
course, with our recommendation.
Beautiful, because in the summit there'll be opportunity for civil society also to be involved there, and I hope that the gender will be one of gender equality and economic development will be one the role. Also youth is also very important.
Yes.
In that.
I think that we cannot just talk about gender like this. Gender is integrated in
Yes.
human development.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can't talk about economic development without talking about human development.
Yes.
Without human resources,
Yeah.
qualified, talented
and in
human
Cambodia,
resources,
we-
you
we-
can't. I mean, you can't progress in your
Yeah. And in
economy
Cambodia, we're talking
or
about
society.
every day 700 Cambodian young people are entering the market force.
Yes, it's a reason why I think that you may know that the government is really working hard
Yes.
on the labor policy,
yes.
trying to attract
Yeah.
investors to come
Yeah.
to Cambodia, to invest in Cambodia, to create, I mean, employment locally for our young people. We don't want to send them, I mean, abroad, but unfortunately now, actually, we don't have the choice
Yes.
because some people would like to go abroad,
Yes.
but a lot of them, they don't want, they would like to stay, but the problem
Provided-
is employment
provided
opportunities are lacking.
employment opportunity
Yeah,
is in
are
the
lacking,
country.
still
That-
lacking.
that's
So, but I think I am a little bit optimistic. It's not a little bit, I am optimistic.
Yes.
Actually, Cambodia is progressing well.
Yes.
I mean, if you compare to the region.
Yes.
And in terms of investment, a lot of people are actually interested in
Good.
investing in Cambodia.
Good.
And
Yeah.
I am sure that in few years we will
Yeah.
have more
Yeah.
employment opportunities for young people and also for our young ladies,
Yes,
young
exactly.
women.
Speaking of a few years, Phavi, you've been minister for a while. In the next few years, what is your vision? You know, in where do you want to take your ministry? How do you see this gender equality being, promoted? What's your vision?
My vision is, I think that we don't want to still consider women as vulnerable.
Yes.
Because if you still consider a group of person vulnerable, you can't do anything. I mean,
Yes.
you
It's
always
a state of mind.
you just plan
Yeah.
program to rescue them all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
I think that it's not a good option
Yes.
to really empower a group.
Yes. Yes.
In terms of empowerment, I saw that it's a reason why the Ministry of Women's Affairs has moved a little bit the policy actually
Yes.
from rescuing vulnerable people
Yes, yes.
to empowering them.
Yes. Yes.
And this is the way how the ministry will, will move
That's your vision.
forward.
It's a paradigm shift.
Yes, it's a paradigm shift. And I believe that the economic empowerment
Yes.
is one main tool to address the issue of poverty
Yeah.
among women
Yeah.
and also to to strengthen
Yes.
women to
Yeah.
be more self-confident, to face the reality of the world and
Yeah.
to be ready
Yes.
to face the reality of the world. So you have to empower
Yes.
them,
Yes.
and all our policies and program
Yes.
will move toward empowerment of women.
Phavi, you speak about paradigm shift. You speak about moving the woman from just this vulnerable mindset into
Yes.
empowerment. I think as a country, the same thing. I see this gradual shift also because from the Paris Peace Accord, which you were in Cambodia since those days, now it's 2011, we're exactly 20 years. We cannot continue to label our country as a post-crisis. We have to move beyond this post-crisis mode, and that's why for me, I see the opportunity next year as Cambodian chair, when we shine, when we excel, when we show to the region, the world that we are not anymore a post-crisis, we are a normal country, capable to do things as other country could, and this will be psychologically very important for our government, for our society, our private sector to start behaving as a normal country, not as I need your help, I need your pity, but that if you invest in my country, it's because we have good policies.
Yes,
good
we have to
labor,
offer something.
We have good, exactly.
You know that in the
Yeah.
private sector you
Yeah.
have supply and
Yes,
demand.
yes, yes.
If the demand
Yes.
is here because the supply is good.
Yes, exactly. So I that's probably on that point that I want to bring the show to an end. What's your last word?
My last word, if I may say, I think that to all policymakers and all leaders, I think that in order to make a pro-poor or inclusive policy, and I think that now
Yes.
We have, as you said, we have a new paradigm.
Yes.
It's not just benefit, economic development
Sure.
without talking about human development.
Not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. We show
Yeah.
a lot of research show
Yeah.
already that. So I think that in terms of sustaining this economic development growth,
Yeah.
we need to have an inclusive policy, economic policy. And if I may say, inclusive economic policy means including gender issues. The policy should be
Yes.
gender responsive.
Yeah.
And pro-poor also.
Yes.
Looking at the
Yes.
poor people living in
Yeah.
in the country, I think that we have less than 30% of people living below the poverty line, but still it's almost 1/4. So we need to take into account the poor people also.
So I can wrap up by saying the last word is inclusive growth, inclusive development, including all the stakeholder, mostly women, youth as well.
Yes,
Yes.
youth, of course, yeah,
Yes.
because you know that because we have less than 24 years old, we have
Yes.
60%
Yes.
of the total population.
Yes.
So it's a big portion. You can't marginalize
Yes.
or neglect.
Yes.
And if they are happy,
Yes. Yes.
society can move forward smoothly. If they are not happy, you can see worldwide
Yeah, exactly.
what
So,
happened.
Yes, exactly. Well, let me say on behalf of the audience and the program, thank you for being the first minister of the Royal Government to come to our show. And I have to say that, this show is quite gender sensitive because the inaugural show, we have the ambassador from Australia, and you know her also, Margaret Adamson.
Yes.
See, it starts
Good
with
friend.
the gender.
Yes.
Member of government who are first invited are you.
Thank you.
A female minister in the government. So we are gender sensitive. So let me
Thank
say
you so much.
let me say thank you formally. It's been quite an interesting discussion, So, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the show. But what you have heard in the last 30 minutes of the change that economic development in a country will not be sustainable, at least according to the minister, without having the input, the contribution, of key stakeholder. In this case, in the case Cambodia, happen to be women who comprise a big majority of the Cambodian workforce. So inclusiveness is very important. Gender equality in economic development, gender equality and economic development, these are all part of this new paradigm. We're moving away from a woman as vulnerable. We should help this woman because they're poor, they vulnerable, disadvantaged, widow. No, we should work with them as an equal, a member of society, capable to be productive, capable to contribute, and that's something quite positive for this country. And we have to say congratulations to the Minister of Women Affairs for doing such a good job with the ministry, and for coming today to share with us the experience.
Thank you.
Again, good night, and we'll see each other next week. So, Phavi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.